Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the Pacific Northwest in my little hick town of Belfair, Washington. So welcome to my channel, everybody. So this is the first mail call of April 2nd. It's my daughter's birthday. I didn't plan on coming on today, but my daughter, I love her to pieces. She took the day off today, and she is right back at her work because she took a couple of dogs in. She's going to groom them at her work. Her dog especially, because her dog is a doodle. It's a Bouvier and Poodle mix rescue, and it's, the tripod, and it's easier for her to put her up on the table to groom her. And Lucy needs to be groomed so she can get in the water tank at physical therapy. All of that hair, it's just not good. So all the hair is coming off today for Miss Lucy Goose. And yeah, she thinks she's going on a ride, but she's in for a big surprise when she gets there. And you would think this dog would be used to grooming, and this dog does not like to be groomed. So my poor daughter, on her birthday, on her days off, she is on her one day off that she took during the week here. She's grooming dogs, but they're her own dogs. They're our dogs. So that's what she's doing this morning. She took Hank to school. She's like, I'm heading straight to work. I said, I'm so sorry. She's like, I know. She's like, it's just easier to do her on the table. She's like, it's easier, to get her up in the, because they have these raised bathtubs, and they have these thick mats like this for dogs, and especially with Lucy because of her back leg, getting in our bathtub is just terrible. So anyways, Miss Lucy's getting bathed and getting groomed, and I'm picking up Hank. It's early dismissal, so I think Justice told me I need to be there like at 12:30 to pick him up. So yeah, let the fun begin. And I feel like I've missed my stamp room, guys. I've missed you guys so much because I haven't been in here in days. I promise I'm gonna show you the cards in just a second. So my daughter on Sunday, on her day off, she says, hey mom, she's like, for my birthday, can you make lumpia? And I said, Justice, honey, I said, I have no lumpia wrappers. I said, I need fresh green beans, fresh carrots. I said, I can make it. I said, but I got to go all the way to Silverdale just to get the wrappers. It's the only place I get the wrappers. She's like, yeah, but I would really like lumpia. And along with lumpia comes, the fried rice and everything. So it's like, okay. So Monday I made a trip, and then I went to Costco for her. I did the errands, all that stuff on Monday. So I've been Sunday I laid around, watched movies with them. She fell asleep. Hank asked 101 questions, like, why does Dante's Peak, one of her favorite disaster movies, Hank, why does the boat melt in the lake, acid lake? I'm like, I don't know, Hank. It's acid melts metal. I ask your mother. She's the scientist here in this thing. Ask me a history question. I can answer it. 101 question. Why does the airplane's air filter get clogged and crash the airplane, but not the truck? I said, Hank, it's Hollywood. I said, Hank, the truck, trust me, no trucks would be running with all that ash running through their filters. They'd all stop working. You'd all be hoofing it in a disaster like that. Just 101 questions. Love him to pieces. Oh, just, he's, constantly chit chat all the way through the movie. So I got a stack of cards, and I have a little gift here. And then I need to go to the library this morning before I go pick up Hank. And then I need to finish rolling the lumpia. I started yesterday. I froze those. And then I always clean before. It's just my aunt coming over. It's not like my aunt and Jessica coming over for her birthday. So my first card is from Joanne. And look at this little kitty cat sitting in. You could tell that this might be catnip. He's sitting in there. He's watching the butterfly. So cute. This little barrel. This is what my fountain is. A couple of these little barrels. One sits up here, and it's got those old hand crank water pumps, and it recycles the water from here to the top pump and it overflows. This is what's in my garden. Sending you some get well cheer. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Joanne. This is so sweet. I'm sorry it took so long. I've had these cards sitting here, so if you were like, oh, I was wondering when she was going to do them. Yes, I was saving them. I didn't want to do another mail call for March. I was saving them for today. It worked out really well because I miss coming on here. Set that one aside. And this one, y'all, this one is fabulous. Michelle, I've got two things to share from you. But not only did she send me this great Funfold watch, just a note, right? It opens, and then secret panel, you open it up. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? That is so cool, because it looks like, oh, and then you're like, oh, that's a cool pop-up. But then look at this. Ta-da! Yes. That is a cool Funfold. But not only that, she printed me out the directions for this. So you better believe it, I'll be making this one. Look. So, Creative Moments by G. There it is. Everything I need to know to make this. So this will be staying on my desk. I'm going to be paper clipping this together, so I can keep that together over there. And then Kathy likes fold. Look at this. Do you remember the other one? The other one was a center pleated fold that went like this. It came down like this. And look at this one in yellow. Springtime greetings. And it's got a cute little bee sticker. And this is from the heart-shaped set in the embossing folder. Love that. I really do. I love that the lines are going this way and then the gingham and the pleats are going in the opposite direction. It's so great. And this has sunflowers going on there. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kathy. And then we have a card all the way from Canada. Miss Susie Q. Yes. And look at this. Funfold as well. I don't do a lot of these because a lot of the times I can't get them to line up. This one goes effortlessly. Not all of mine do. I do. And look at this shape. This shape. Sometimes I just can't get them, you know, and they should line up. But look at that. It just folds. I remember this. I still have some of this. Absolutely love it, Susie. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. One more. And this one is going to look familiar. Michelle was the winner of these ephemera pieces, right? And just look at this. Hello, everything. I opened it and I smiled big. I said, oh my gosh. I said, Russell, because he brought it in. I said, look. I said, I sent her these. She won the drawing. I said, and look, she sent it back. I said, now this can go on display in my room, and it shall. I was tickled pink. So this came in with my package here. And look at these. And Hank was spying these yesterday. I said, oh, no. He was like, but Manji. And I said, yes, I know. I said, they're pens. And he was looking particularly at the red ones. I said, no. These are going in my room. My room. He's like, but there's purple ones for you and the red ones can be for me. I said, no. The kid is devastating to pens. Let me tell you why. Because on Monday afternoon, I went with Justice to his conference, right? I wasn't going to. And Hank's like, yeah, you can come. After I was done, he probably didn't want me to go. But the teacher started explaining to us that the children, and Hank is not the only one, they are destroying the pens he's had for class. And so he's making them use the pencils, but he preferred them writing in pen because it was easier for him to see and, you know, but the kids were literally taking, cheap old big pens, and they were taking them apart. And he's like, I don't know what's up with these kids nowadays. He's like, but they can disassemble anything. Justice and I were just shaking our heads. We're like, yeah, we know. And Hank can be one of the worst. They fidget with anything, and if they can figure out how to disassemble, he's like, they just take them completely apart. There's no putting these things back together by the time these kids are done with them. He's like, and I'm just done investing in pens. And so today, by the way, my hubby and I were at Walmart, and I had told him this in the car ride when we were at the ferries at the VA the other day, going to the VA hospital. And so when we were at Walmart, um, he starts heading over to the school supply things. And I said, what are we doing? He's like, we're going to get Mr. Dixon some pens. So we just bought the cheap big pens, but he bought 10 packages. We got paid. It was the first. So he bought 5 packages of blue, 5 packages of black. And I think there was 10 each in each package. They were like $1.50 for a package. He's like, we're sending these to the teachers. He's like, I know about Hank's fidgeting problem. He's like, should we get him pencils? I said, no, I got that covered. I said, Russell, I have a box, and this is no lie. I have a photo storage box. And in there, I had like a couple of boxes of like 200 count pencil boxes. And so I sent those as well this morning in a plastic bag with Hank, and I sent a note in there, and I did make a note in there. I said, Mr. Dixon, my husband is the actual one who picked out the pens. He was going to send some red ones, and he's like, but those are mostly for teacher correction, so maybe we shouldn't let the children have the red pens. And I said, yeah, let's leave the red ones. So that was sweet of my husband to think of Mr. Dixon, which you wouldn't always think that my hubby has a sweet side sometimes. But there is, and he thought of the teacher. And he knows that our grandson is, culprit, probably a number one for the destroyer of the pens. He might be leader of the pack in there when it comes to the pen destruction. So, yeah, that's why he can't touch these. I wouldn't even let him near them. Yes. And found out that the kid wasn't like, Hank has a big issue with doing repeat work, and one of the problems the teacher said is that Hank won't do certain classwork because it's paperwork, and they was asking Hank, where's this, and Hank's like, well, it's on, I already did that, I did it on the computer. He's like, but Hank, I have paperwork. He's like, but it was the same paper. So Hank will, if Mr. Dixon gives him an assignment on the computer and then gives him like the same repeat assignment on paper, Hank will just take the paper, he'll pretend, or he'll do like partial of it. He'll take the paper home, and Mr. Dixon never gets that paper turned in, because in Hank's mind, he's done it already. He's done it on the computer. He's not doing it again. It is something we have struggled with forever. You're banging your head against a brick wall with Hank with this kind of thing, and we've discussed it. But so Hank not turning in his work or not doing his in-class paperwork, getting that turned in, I think we solved it, because he came home yesterday. Oh, anyways, what I told the teacher, I told Hank, I said, I have something that will help you, maybe. I said, Hank, I pick Hank up every day, except Wednesdays. I pick him up, at the flagpole. I said, but, and I looked at Hank, I said, it is a privilege, not a right. I don't have to pick your butt up out there. I said, if you do not do all of your work, in-class work, whether you've done it on the computer and he's asking you to do it again, I said, I won't pick you up the next day. I said, Mr. Dixon, there's this little parenting app, whatever. I said, he lets your mother know whether you did it or not. And the next day, we'll determine whether you ride the bus home or not. And Hank was, yeah, like, yeah. So I think that worked, because he came home directly when he got home from school. He informed me that he did all of his classwork and then some. Yeah, I can't go into that. But yes. So then we told him, I said, and if he still doesn't do it, you let us know, because he won't have a computer cord when he gets home either. Dixon was like in Justice, and Hank's looking at his mom, and Justice is like, that's right, Hank. You don't get this work done, and yeah. Sad thing is, and after Hank left, Mr. Dixon's like, sad thing is he can pass without doing it. He's that smart. We know he's smart. The kid doesn't like repetitive work, but he's going into middle school. He needs to do what the teacher asks. And sometimes, I told Mr. Dixon, there'll be days where you might have to remind him, hey, Hank, do you want to ride the bus home, or do you want to get picked up? You might have to reinforce it like that to get it in the kid's head. We do in the morning. This morning, I told him, I said, you make sure you are polite. You do all of your work, And I told him, if you can't finish your work because you put in a good effort and you can't get it finished, that's different. But you make sure you turn in your work, because part of the problem is, like, for instance, gosh, love this kid to pieces. So Mr. Dixon's like, did you guys get Hank's report card? Hank's like, Mr. Dixon, you didn't give me a report card. He's like, Hank, I gave you the report card your mother needed to sign last week. And I asked you if you got it, and he keeps telling me he didn't get it. And I look over at him, and thank goodness, as we told Hank we were going to school for the thing, he automatically puts on this little cross your body backpack. It's a small little backpack, no bigger than this, big enough for a book. And I said, Hank, get your backpack and empty that thing out, and let's see if there's anything. I don't assume anything can fit in this backpack. I mean, it's so small, only he carries around a book in there. I don't assume anything's ever in it, so I never check. And oh my goodness, the stuff that came out of there. Some of the pages, schoolwork that he takes home, that is like one sentence is finished, the rest is blank. Because of course he did that. Mr. Dixon, like, there's the work you didn't turn in. He's like, but I did it on the computer. It's, yeah, we know. The frustration is real. And then he pulls out a white envelope. Parents of Hank Seraphin. Mr. Dixon's like, that's the report card. It's like, oh, good grief, Charlie Brown. And Hank's like, oh. He's like, but Mr. Dixon, that's a white envelope. He's like, the report card's in the envelope. Kid. Oh, sometimes, if he would said, Hank, the report card is in the envelope. I mean, you have to get particular, I guess, with this kid. So now it's like a matter of checking the kid's tiny little backpack to find out what he's bringing home. I mean, he had it packed. There was stuff this thick in there. And when Justice and I were coming on, I said, Justice, I didn't think anything could really fit in that backpack. She's like, I didn't either, Mom. She's like, honest to goodness, I don't think he ever brings home anything, because nothing ever fits in the backpack. So anyways, I better get going. Thank you all for being here. I love chit-chatting with you. I do need to come out and do a video sometime today, so I have one up for tomorrow. This should air today because it'll be up before noon, because I'm going to do that right now. But then I need, if they don't go up like before like 11:30 or something, they don't post till the next day. Oh, and another information. Yes, I get to have my colonoscopy on April 21st, which it should be good. It's on my mother's birthday, so that should give me some good luck. That's another story in itself. April Fool's was on me, I'm telling you, yesterday. That was interesting. But it means that there will probably be, I have to do a week-long cleanse for this one. So I'm going to try to prep videos, paper pumpkin videos, and get those done, depending, not know how, or my paper pumpkin videos might just be, we'll have to wait until after that. So if you see a break in videos, it's because I'm doing, cleanse for the colonoscopy. I won't be leaving the bathroom anytime soon. I could probably take a pillow in there and live in there. I'm sure all of you kind of know how that goes. It's the nature of it, but it needs to be done. Hopefully everything goes great. I don't expect to have a problem. Good feeling. Little apprehensive, just a twinge, but I really, all in all, I feel like it's gonna go really good this time. I mean, what's the worst can happen? They can puncture my colon again. Yeah, that's basically the worst that can happen. Been there, done that. So I've already faced that down, you know. Anyways, all right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again here in my Wonderland. Bye bye for now.